For the Record, proudly brought to you by
Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury, and JN Money.
From abroad to yard.
Fast, affordable, convenient. Doctor's Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctor's Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Digicel, Cayman's bigger, better network. And Kirk Market. Experience a world of choice.
We ask our listeners and viewers to avoid any statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use indecent language or make any statement that is false or misleading. Call 1-800-534-8255, 949-6990, 949-8037, or WhatsApp us on 925-3261.
Live from Radio Cayman Studio.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you.
For the Record.
Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
With Orrett Connor.
Informative, impartial, insightful.
This is For the Record.
For the Record. 1-800-534-8255. Your calls, your input. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Orrett Connor.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. O land of soft, fresh breezes and verdant trees so fair. Today is the last day of another month, the month of May 2024, right here in the beautiful Cayman Islands. We hope and we trust that everyone had a restful, peaceful, enjoyable evening. Those of you who are on the roads of the Cayman Islands, we urge you to please be extremely cautious. It has rained already in some places today, and I think the forecast is for at least 40% chance of showers in the Cayman Islands today. So please be careful out there, whether you're a pedestrian, a cyclist, or if you're operating any type of motorized vehicle. Ensure that you observe the rules of the road. Remember, the life you save may just be your own. If you're celebrating a birthday today, we want to wish you a happy birthday. Or if you've celebrated one over the past few days, we want to wish you a belated happy birthday. And to remind you that this segment of the For the Record, the birthday shout-outs, brought to you by Coca-Cola, who are proud to support your birthday shout-outs. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga wholesalers. You should accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. And by Superior Auto. Superior Auto, they keep your car in tune. Call them at 949-9570 or 525-9571. To those of you who have lost loved ones, again, we want to extend our sincere condolences to you. We hope and we trust that your faith will help to carry you through these extremely challenging times, and that the memories of your loved ones will be a blessing to you. Those of you who are ill and are either at home or at a medical facility here in the Cayman Islands or overseas, we do wish you a speedy recovery as well. So let's look at some of the birthdays that we have. Miss Junie Martin is celebrating her birthday today, so we want to wish Miss Junie Martin a happy birthday, and may she live to see many, many more as well. We also see that tomorrow, Mr. Rail Roberts will be celebrating his birthday, and then on Sunday the 2nd, Mr. Josen Ebanks will be celebrating his birthday, and hopefully we will see Josen on the bike on Sunday as well, hopefully. If he does not have other early plans to celebrate his birthday, he's normally out there with us at 5:30 on a Sunday morning, so we look forward to seeing him as well. If you know someone who's celebrating a birthday today, please share that information with us, and we will certainly give them a shout out right here on For the Record. The birthday shout outs brought to you by Coca-Cola, who are proud to support your birthday shout outs. Coca-Cola available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga wholesalers. You should accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. And also by Superior Auto, who keep your car in tune. Call them at 949-9570 or 525-9571. Of course, the start of the hurricane season is approaching as well. Tomorrow, the 1st of June, will be the official start of the hurricane season. And we're going to have some guests in the studio immediately after the 8 o'clock news. In the first segment of the show, we will have Mr. Mark Codlin. Mr. Codlin has led the development launch of Phase 1, Radio Interrupt, and Phase 2, the app of hazard management's and the island's National Emergency Notification System. You also will have in the studio with us we will have Mr. Okay, we'll have Adan Powell Jeffries, Adan is the HMCI's lead on shelters. And we will also have Leslie Lennox Vernon, who leads the warehouse and logistical aspects of moving goods and relief supplies, and also the communication systems such as satellite phones, UHF emergency radio systems, shortwave radio system. He also assists Mark Codlin on Phase 3 of the National Emergency Notification System as well. They will be in the studio with us after the 8 o'clock news at 8:15, and then we will have other guests coming on at 9 o'clock. Kerry Power will be with us, as well as Mr. Simon Boxall. Folks, we're going to go to a commercial break. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, He hath founded it upon the seas.
Annie Elizabeth Bush, Certificate of Honor, 1901 to 1994. Annie was an enterprising young lady who learned to play the organ at an early age, and for many years was organist at the George Hicks Memorial Church in South Sound. She also taught her niece to play, and she eventually took over Annie's duties. Annie always wanted to be a nurse. She studied first aid under the tutelage of the late Mrs. Andrews. She worked as a practical nurse for many years at both new and old Georgetown hospitals, and also a theater nurse. After retirement, she did private nursing. She was a good seamstress and did a lot of crochet. She left her family a large crochet of the Lord's Prayer.
Radio Cayman's Historical Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
Since 1993, Rotary Central has worked diligently each year to provide quality bus shelters to our community. A traveling convenience to our school children, the elderly, young people going to work, guest workers, and visitors using the public bus. We, Rotary Central, help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way. Positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
There you go, sir. Thanks for choosing JN Money Transfer.
Boy, thanks to JN Money Transfer, I can stay right here in Cayman and pay mama bills back home in Jamaica. Her water, light, phone, and other bills never late. Every month I pay everything in one place.
Make payments to over 30 companies in Jamaica through JN Money Transfer. Fast, affordable, convenient. Call 1-800-744-1163 for details.
Ladies and gentlemen, have you heard the news? Digicel is back with exciting offers that are too good to resist. Activate one of our brand new prepaid or postpaid plans today and experience telecommunications like never before. With more data, dedicated entertainment options like Netflix, YouTube, Spotify, and endless social text data for all your favorite platforms. Digicel is here to make sure you stay connected and entertained. Whether you are on a prepaid or postpaid, you will also enjoy dedicated roaming data for the USA, Canada, and the Caribbean. It's all about value, and Digicel has got you covered.
Can you imagine your home completely organized? At BrandSource Custom Closets, we can. We specialize in designing and building custom closets and storage units for any room in your home, including the garage. With tailored designs and custom LED lighting solutions to fit your lifestyle and budget, our Custom Closets expert is committed to enhancing the value of your home with a solution that is uniquely yours. Visit our showroom or call 623-6774 to schedule a no-obligation appointment with our design expert. BrandSource Custom Closets, 209 Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park.
The real magic of the Summer Olympics is closer than you think. Coca-Cola is giving you the chance to win a trip of a lifetime to the Olympic Games in Paris this summer. Just grab any 2 8-packs of Coca-Cola or Sprite products at a participating store and you could be jetting off to see the Olympics live and in person. It's an all-inclusive trip for 2. Don't miss out on the action. Find your nearest participating store and enter now. Follow the flame to caymantoparis.com.
Tune in every Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. for Radio Cayman's Midday Newscast. Radio Cayman, the People's Station, your trusted official source for the latest news. The 12 p.m. news is proudly brought to you by Health City Cayman Islands. World-class healthcare within your reach.
This is For the Record.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. No guests in the studio yet, but as I pointed out to you, we will have representatives from Hazard Management Cayman in the studio with us talking about the upcoming hurricane season, which starts tomorrow, the 1st of June. And we will have in the studio with us from 8:15 until 9 o'clock, Mark Codlin, Adan Powell, Jeffries, and Leslie Lennox Vernon. And they will be discussing preparedness aspects, such as the upcoming multi-agency exercise, which is going to take place on the 7th of June, working with stakeholders, because Hazard Management Cayman, Hazard Management, they are the coordinating Agency. We'll also be talking about the Sister Islands outreach that took place in early May as well. Lots to talk about during that first segment. And then, of course, in the second segment, we will have Kerry Powery, who is the Chief Forecaster, Cayman Islands National Weather Service, and Mr. Simon Boxall, who's the Public Awareness and the Communications and Training Officer at Hazard Management in Cayman as well. Let's go back to a little bit of history here. So in June of 1966, the Tradewinds newspaper reported on the 9th of June that we experienced our first Hurricane Alma, which basically just missed the Cayman Islands. And there were some photographs of the iron shore and the waves crashing on the iron shore. They pointed out that we had 6 days of heavy, steady rains, and in the late afternoon on the 5th of June, 1966, there were the forerunners of the season's first hurricane, 5th of June. Presence of a tropical low-pressure area was detected over the northeast coast of Honduras. This low pressure also soon developed into a tropical storm moving in a north-northeasterly direction, passing a short distance west of Swan Island. And there was a little bit more to that, but we do have a caller, and we only have about 3 minutes left to go before we go to our 8 o'clock news, so we're going to try to accommodate that caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. O'Connor.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Okay, and you?
I'm fine, thanks.
Okay. Concerning being prepared for hurricane season, the Cayman Islands is 3 feet below sea level. According to the National Hurricane Center in Miami, the Cayman Islands is the bullseye in the Caribbean for hurricanes. Global warming is getting worse, which means sea level is rising, which means we're going to have more hurricanes. And they speak about being prepared and tell us what items we need during the hurricane and after the hurricane, especially if it's as bad as it was in Ivan. But yet, the population has now grown probably 25,000 people more, and they're still using these same hurricane shelters, which are level with the ground. And with the population being more than it was before, and a lot of those people who are here now and renting from certain places, there's a possibility that the majority of them will want to go to the hurricane centers, which means that our locals who may have to use the hurricane shelters also, there may be a problem with space when people get there, and being overcrowded in those types of places is not good. And for them to continue putting people in hurricane shelters that level with the ground, in all these years gone by, the concessions, over $1 billion worth of concession money they gave away. We should have a hurricane shelter in each district with a foundation 10 feet in height, the right size that we're able to hold all our emergency equipment and all our supplies. And by continuing to put people in hurricane shelters at level with the ground, if we were to have a tsunami, especially those people in those centers who may be old or children, if we were to have a tsunami, the majority of them would probably drown. So the government is not prepared now. And by them knowing the future, it seems as though I don't hear any plans about any hurricane shelters such as that. They're not preparing for the future either.
Of course, we do have one in the church in Bordentown that will be also serve as a hurricane shelter. It appears as if that is on its final stages of completion now as well. So that will give a huge boost to the amount of shelter that we would have for hurricanes as well. But and these are the things that we will talk about as well, that will be discussed in terms of our capacity, as well as giving advice to people in terms of what they should do. And we can't, like the caller said, ignore the fact that the population of the Cayman Islands has grown tremendously, let's say, for instance, since Hurricane Ivan as well. And are we now prepared to be able to accommodate those numbers, or what to do with them? Folks, top of the hour, 8 o'clock news. When we return, we will have members from Hazard Management Cayman in the studio with us. Don't change that dial. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back immediately after the 8 o'clock news.
Radio Cayman time check now, 8:01. This time check brought to you by our friends at Foster's.
When you're on the go, the experienced team at Foster's Pharmacy are here to help. Drop off your prescription while you shop, or WhatsApp us and we'll prepare it, ready for your arrival.
Whether you need prescription or over-the-counter medications, blood glucose testing, or advice on vitamins and supplements, we're here early in the morning to late at night. Both of our locations at our Camana Bay and airport stores are open 7 a.m. to 9 p.m., Monday to Saturday.
For more info, visit fosters.ky/pharmacy. Foster's Pharmacy. Better health, because we care.
The voice of the Cayman Islands.
89.9 FM in Grand Cayman and 93.9 FM in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman.
Silver wings shining in the sunlight.
Radio Cayman.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
For today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With your latest news, I'm Karsley Fuller. It's here. Hurricane season starts tomorrow. Hazard Management Director Danny Coleman has this message for residents.
Hurricane season obviously starts from the 1st of June till the end of November. And again, it's just to bear in mind that, people need to be prepared for every eventuality. We know the forecast this year is particularly strong. It also only takes one storm to really severely disrupt our lives. So we really need the public to come on board with us to make sure they are ready to go if by chance we get a tropical storm or a hurricane at some point during the season. Whilst we're a very small set of islands, it really can severely impact us. We've seen rapid intensification over the years. That is a real problem nowadays with climate change. So making sure that we understand that we can go to bed one night and wake up the next morning and it'll be a very, very different state of affairs. It could go from a storm to a Cat 4 hurricane very, very quickly. So making sure you are always listening to official lines of communication and getting ready, and also helping your neighbours. It's great when we're all prepared, but we have to make sure that our neighbours are also prepared, and our families and those who specifically need it, those more vulnerable members of the community. Let's make sure the whole of the Cayman Islands is ready to go and have our supplies in order, know where we're going to evacuate to, if it's to a shelter or someone's home. Just make sure you've got everything you need for the season. We do have obviously a lot of information on caymanprepared.ky, and our Facebook pages are getting updated on other social media, Twitter and so forth, Instagram, on a regular basis, and we're here to help. So if you do need a presentation, for example, with your schools or service clubs or church groups or whatever it is, businesses, we are very, very happy to come and talk to you directly and make sure that you're prepared for the season.
Again, the Hazard Management website is caymanprepared.gov.ky and has loads of tips and infos on how best you can fare in the upcoming hurricane season. The Department of Environment is hoping you'll weigh in on a new Cayman sage conservation plan. The endemic plant was suspected to have become extinct, but was rediscovered growing on the road verge of the Queens Highway back in 2007. Although the wild population has apparently died out, seeds were collected from it and grown in the Botanic Park and have now generated multiple generations and very large numbers. In terms of conservation strategies, the draft plan covers things like cultivation, restoration, monitoring, and habitat protection, although at this time there's no recommendation in the plan for protected areas for Cayman sage. Other potential conservation measures include preventing specimens from being transferred to ownership outside of Grand Cayman. It's hoped through the plan the country can see a self-sustaining population of Cayman sage back in the wild. The species is classified as critically endangered and is protected under the National Conservation Act. You can purchase the plant for use in your garden at the Botanic Park. The public consultation period runs through June 30th, and you can learn more about the plan by heading to conservation.ky. Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, which takes us out of the newscast. I'm Karsley Fuller.
BBC News with Debbie Russ. The US presidential election campaign has moved into uncharted territory after the Republican presumptive candidate Donald Trump was found guilty of falsifying business records. The former president's criminal conviction does not prevent him from running. The Democrats said the ballot box was the only way to keep him out of the White House. The Republicans said the trial was a travesty of justice. Allies and adversaries of the United States have been reacting to the conviction of Donald Trump. In Moscow, President Putin's spokesman described the verdict as the elimination of political rivals by all possible means. The British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak said he was focused on his own election campaign. Germany has agreed to allow Ukraine to use its weapons to hit specific Russian military targets bordering the Kharkiv region. A spokesman said Kiev had the right to defend itself against attacks coming from inside Russia. Thousands of migrant workers are trying to get into Malaysia ahead of a midnight deadline. Up to 20,000 are waiting to have documents processed at Kuala Lumpur Airport. The Chinese government has fined the indebted property company Evergrande more than $500 million for fraudulent business practices. Regulators said the firm had inflated its profits and revenue. Political parties in South Africa are gearing up for coalition talks. It comes as results from Wednesday's elections show the governing African National Congress is set to fall short of a majority. BBC News.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
Now, more than ever, supporting your immune system is crucial to helping your body fight off illnesses like the common cold, the flu, and COVID-19. At ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road and in Buttontown, we carry all the essential vitamins and minerals to help support your immune system and improve your overall health. Some of our top immunity support picks are vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, and quercetin, or the popular 7-in-1 immunity support. Our pharmacists are always on hand to help guide you and answer any questions. Visit ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Buttontown. Live happy, live healthy with ValueMed Pharmacy.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman with the latest up-to-date, accurate news and information. For your convenience, the headline news will be repeated on our sister station, Breeze 105.3 FM, weekdays at 8:30 a.m. Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or download the Radio Cayman app in the App Store or log on to www.radiocayman.gov.ky and stay connected to what's happening in the community. Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
Whether it's routine care or highly complex surgery, when it comes to your health, you want the best. Health City has Cayman's most comprehensive range of in-house medical services. Recognized for quality and excellence, Health City brings together expert doctors, the best technology, and the latest techniques to understand your health and ensure you get the care you need. From Camana Bay to East End, you can trust the team at Health City. Health City, world-class healthcare within your reach.
This summer, discover adventure, magic, culture, nature, and so much more with Cayman Airways. Airfares are now on sale for travel this summer between Grand Cayman and all of their international summer destinations. Visit New York, Denver, Los Angeles, Miami, Tampa, Kingston, Montego Bay, Panama, Havana, and La Ceiba. But hurry, this summer airfare sale ends June 1st. Call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or book online at CaymanAirways.com. Make this your best summer yet with Cayman Airways.
Beach and Reggae Sundays on Breeze 105.3 FM from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. Brought to you by Healthcare Pharmacy, where they care about your health. 2 locations, Governor Square and Grand Harbor. Governor Square open Monday to Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Grand Harbor open Monday to Saturday, 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. and open on Sundays, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Call 947-8900 or visit healthcarepharmacy.ky.
The 8 a.m. weather update brought to you by
CG Britcay, where people come first.
Once again, good Friday morning, my friends. Present temperature now 89 degrees Fahrenheit. Last night's low temperature was at 83. Winds are out of the east-southeast at 9 miles per hour. Relative humidity 90%. The barometric pressure is at 29.94 inches and dropping. Residual moisture left from a recently passed tropical wave is interacting with an upper-level trough and will support subcloudy spells and showers across the Cayman area for the next 24 hours. Our forecast for today calls for cloudy skies with a 40% chance of showers and some thunder. Temperatures will rise to the upper 80s with a heat index near 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Winds will be east to northeast at 5 to 10 knots, and seas will be slight with wave heights of 1 to 3 feet. Later tonight, partly cloudy skies becoming cloudy at times with a 30% chance of overnight showers. Temperatures will fall to the mid-80s. Winds will be east to northeast at 5 to 10 knots, becoming 10 to 15 knots by early morning. Seas will be slight with wave heights of 1 to 3 feet. With a high tide, or low tide will be coming up at 11:12 this morning. It's going to be high at 5:40 this afternoon. And the outlook is for an increase in cloudiness and showers from Saturday evening as a tropical wave approaches the Cayman area. That, my friends, is your latest weather, brought to you by our friends at CG Britcay.
I was undercover and had just recovered the stolen artwork, but...
Aunt Angie, what does this have to do with managing my insurance?
Well, long story long. I found the art thief in France, but ended up becoming somewhat of a local celebrity. So I had to stick around for a while. But I was able to handle all my insurance needs with CG's online portal.
The online portal. Safe, convenient, simple. CG Britcay. Good like that.
The 8 a.m. weather update brought to you by
CG Britcay, where people come first.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Enjoy a delicious start to your day with breakfast from Subway.
All right, of course, here is your 8 a.m. traffic update. Of course, looking at the east-west arterial, traffic is flowing smoothly until getting to the Red Bay roundabout, where it's once again running into some traffic. And of course, trying to get into respective lanes as you slowly move towards the Century 21 roundabout. I was going through South Sound, some free flow. And of course, getting closer to the Walkers Road area. Starts to slow up a little bit. And actually on Walkers Road itself, you'll run into some traffic. Try to get the kids to school this morning time. Similar with some traffic going through South Sound up to Seafarers Way, Charles Orchard Street into Seafarers Way. No cruise ships in, so traffic will be moving smoothly along that area. Of course, with the morning traffic coming out of the South Church Streets, you have some slow-moving traffic there. Lots of traffic as well as still on the Litford Pearson as well as on Crew Road. Slow-moving traffic on Bobby Thompson Way as well. Slow-moving traffic along Halda Avenue heading towards the CNB roundabout. And the majority of streets in the Georgetown area taking in the influx of traffic. Edward Street, looking at some slow-moving traffic as you negotiate around the construction. Some traffic as well coming off Main Street heading on to Shedden Road. And light traffic on Shedden Road itself. Eastern Avenue seeing its fair share of traffic this morning time. Traffic from Godfrey Nixon Way feeding in from the Butterfield roundabouts. And of course, once getting the camera to swivel around to the Butterfield roundabouts, we do see some traffic along North Sound Road, some traffic coming off the SLE Tibbets, similar with slow-moving traffic heading towards the Butterfield roundabout, the northward bound direction. So expect traffic in that area, of course. West Bay Road, seeing a fair share of traffic coming into the Georgetown area, heading into North Church Street into Seafarers Way, as well as traffic heading out to West Bay, moving quite fine. Traffic heading to the eastern districts at this moment, light to moderate. Urge you to drive safely. Light traffic along Roberts Drive if you're heading towards the airports. Cayman Brack and Little Cayman seeking light traffic this time of the morning. Buckle up, stay safe, and enjoy your Friday and weekend. That's your latest traffic report.
From boat days to beach gatherings, leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters, double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway box to go with the option of 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips for all occasions and celebrations. Let Subway focus on the food so you can focus on the fun. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Enjoy a delicious start to your day with breakfast from Subway.
This summer, discover adventure, magic, culture, nature, and so much more with Cayman Airways. Airfares are now on sale for travel this summer. Visit New York, Denver, Los Angeles, Miami, Tampa, Kingston, Montego Bay, Panama, Havana, and La Ceiba. But hurry, sale ends June 1st. Call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or book online at CaymanAirways.com. Make this your best summer yet with Cayman Airways.
Magic and Wine with David Menken. Friday and Saturday, June 14th and 15th. 2 evenings of whimsical summer excitement. The elixir of magic and wine. Join David Menken, the international champion of magic, for an intimate evening of fine wine and world-class magical artistry. The Ballroom at C. Alyssa, Al and Melissa Thompson's residence. Magic and Wine, a Rotary Central fundraising event. Get your tickets through eventpro.ky. Attendees must be 18 years and over. Audio and video recording restrictions apply. The magic of Rotary.
Attention parents and guardians. Registration for Cayman Islands government schools for the 2024 to 2025 academic year closes on June 30th. By law, all children turning 5 by August 31st must be enrolled in an approved government, private, or homeschooling program. Don't miss out. Visit schools.edu.ky/registration to learn more and secure a spot for your child today. This message is brought to you from the Department of Education Services.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. As promised, we do have our guests in the studio, but before I introduce them, I have been asked to share with you this media statement that was published, and it states that at 4 p.m. on Thursday, the 30th of May, 2024, the Cayman Islands National Weather Service's technical team detected a fault with the Kerner-Gomez Doppler radar system, which had temporarily ceased operation. Immediate troubleshooting efforts were undertaken on site at the radar facility, which resulted in the identification of a misalignment within the system. A common occurrence that can arise following significant repairs or maintenance. With remote support from the manufacturer or technicians correctly diagnosed and quickly repaired the problem. The necessary adjustments were completed and the radar was successfully restored to full operational status by 10:30 p.m. the same day. Mr. John Tibbetts, Director General of the Cayman Islands National Weather Service, noted, and I quote, "The incident highlights the responsiveness and expertise of our CINWS technical staff, coupled with the invaluable support from our radar manufacturer. Together, we ensured minimal disruption to our vital weather monitoring service. We remain committed to maintaining the high standards of operational excellence and reliability. So, folks, the radar is up and running after a glitch, which was detected yesterday, along with collaboration from the manufacturers. The local technical team here was able to solve the problem, and it is up and running. Now, some people may opine and say, well, we continue to have intermittent issues with the radar system. Sometimes it may be for a prolonged period, especially when the part has to be procured from overseas as well. And maybe it is time for us to look at possibly replacing that radar or complementing it with another radar system as well. But these folks here, they're not here to talk about that. They're not the radar specialists as well. And to bear in mind also that the Colonel Gomez Doppler radar system, part contribution by the European Union, the Cayman Islands government was required to contribute in cash or in kind. So the land where the radar is located, the Cayman Islands contributed that portion of it along with some other finances as well. But maybe we need to look at other things as well. Without any further ado, folks, like we said earlier, the hurricane season starts tomorrow. So it is my pleasure to have in the studio with me for this segment or for the record, Mr. Mark Codlin, Mr. Lennox Vernon, and Adan Powell Jeffries. Folks, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. And I'm going to have you go around the table and introduce yourselves. Tell us what you do in your substantive role and about your work in preparing us for hurricane season.
Not a problem.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Mr. O.C., for having us and the listening audience. Glad to be on today. My name is Adan Powell, and I am the Operations and Response and Recovery Officer for Hazard Management. My primary role is shelter operations, making sure that the facilities and the teams are in a state of readiness just in case if anything happens. Given this year's hurricanes prediction being above average, we instill preparedness just to be safe. But also I'm responsible for the Mass Casualty Management Program. Pretty much that involves getting all the agencies and singing the same song if there's a major event. Along with that, I support Mr. Mark Codlin with mitigation, just identifying those threats and having mitigation strategies that actually prevent stuff from escalating or going beyond our scope of work.
Excellent. Mr. Codlin, good morning.
Yes, morning, Mr. O.C., and morning for your wonderful listeners as well. My name is Mark Codlin. I'm the Hazard Mitigation Specialist with a key focus on mostly GIS mapping capabilities, as well as looking at risk assessments. So our big focus, especially for this hurricane season, is really understanding the risks and where the vulnerability areas are, and looking at the critical infrastructures and how can we mitigate against these risks, and working closely with a series of stakeholders across government and also within the public, private sector as well.
Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning again.
Good morning, Mr. O.C. So my name is Leslie Lennox Vernon. On a day-to-day basis, I answer to Lennox. My title is Manager of Logistics and Telecommunications. So my focus is on ensuring that our communication channels are ready and available. So we're actually doing checks and servicing on all of our equipment at the moment, ensuring that our NEOC equipment is up and ready for any, deployments or activations as needed. From the logistics side, is just ensuring that our warehousing has sufficient supplies, ensuring that the shelters are all equipped with all of the items that they are needed. And one thing that I would say that the gentlemen are being nice about is that we generally work together on various projects. So if you see one, you see the other or hear the other. So we are generally, supportive of each other in our roles. So we assist Mark with the NENS project. So we're coming up on a campaign shortly about the phase 2, downloading the app. So We're very excited again this season. We have a few new tools in our toolkit, and we're just excited that we're going to respond and react accordingly.
Okay. Now, I shared with my audience in 1966, the 5th of June, 1966, Hurricane Alma coming off from the coast of Honduras, and it was threatening us to a certain extent. So, we can get a hurricane anytime early in the season as well. So it's important for us to be prepared before. Can we talk some about the multi-agency exercise that is going to take place on the 7th of June and how important and impactful that is?
All right. So in relations to, I'll give you the response section of it.
Sure.
But before that, I want to speak on the preparedness and the mitigation side of it.
Okay.
Because when it comes to response and recovery, if we do the preparedness and the mitigation correctly, the response would be limited, and the recovery would actually it would be much shorter to bring back that new norm.
Right.
So in regards to the tactical training that's happening next week, it's more of re-engaging the community, the stakeholders that are involved in NAOC, keeping those skills sharp. Obviously, we are creatures of habit, and if we don't do it as often, we tend to lose those skills. So refreshing the individuals, making sure that they're making decisions that align with the government itself and the community. So just having that exercise, making sure that, hey, everything is okay for this year and moving forward. But it's just sharpening those skills, making sure that that toolbox that we have, the tools are running at 100%. Because when the people look at hazard management and all the stakeholders involved, they want excellence. And if we're striving for world-class civil service, we need to sharpen those tools. And that's exactly what we're doing with the exercise. Just making sure that everyone is at 100% and in a state of readiness.
Okay. Any of you gentlemen want to add to that?
Well, I'll just add briefly. One of the things that we're doing is we're not just doing exercises, but we've embarked on a number of training activities, basically from the top right down to the ground level, where we are providing training sessions and collaborative opportunities for people to come in and understand more about the program, how it works, how they interact with each other, what the communication pathways are, so that everybody's on the same page. And as Adan said, just ensuring that everybody understands exactly what their role is, not just from a day-to-day basis, but how their role play into an emergency responder activation and how they can get results, where they have to I guess, make submissions for requests for, how to get resource support or anything like that, understanding how they can get it and how easy the mechanism works. So.
Now, when you say they, can you be a little bit more specific?
Well, they, in terms of, I'm referring generally to the stakeholders within government or the NEOC, National Emergency Operations Center. But I'm talking specifically from a member of the public on the ground. They call 911, for example. They may be transferred over to the NEOC call center, who will then enter a task or a request within our web EOC system, which everyone who's a part of the NEOC would understand and see what that request is. So the relevant EST or cluster would then pick up that request and respond accordingly, if they can. Obviously, if we're in a lockdown sequence during a large storm, for example, then we would post that for action after the all clear has been given. But again, it's understanding and having that confidence in the NEOC that something will be done. Someone will come and check on you at some point when it's safe to do so.
Yeah, and just to piggyback on what Lennox was saying, and for the listening audience that may not understand the NEOC. So the whole purpose of it, government as a whole has approximately 149 departments. So if we're faced with a catastrophic event or major event where the resources need to be aligned to identify the problem and correct that issue, NEOC comes in and compresses the government to make it 14 departments. And that 14 departments would actually tackle that incident. And once all that is finished, then we go back to our norms. So that is the purpose of it. Okay. And we have the right individuals to make decisions there. And if the decision is above NEOC or NEOC itself, we escalate that to senior government's executive, the Hazard Management Council, to make those decisions. And one good example from that was COVID. We had policy on the left. We had executive decisions were being made on a day-to-day basis. Legislation was changing so frequently. And that was the key and the driving factor behind the NEOC as well. Great results.
Okay. Absolutely.
Now, sorry,
I was just going to say, things are actually flooding in now. Just to add also, the NEOC, don't think of the NEOC as, it's only government stakeholders.
Yes.
We also have partnerships with the private sector as well. So there's a number of collaborations with private entities, the grocers, the hardware stores, the chamber, and so on. So they fit in somewhere, somehow. But again, government is responsible for the country and ensuring that services are available. So yes, generally, we would make up the majority, so to speak, but we are, in touch with those private entities who also provide vital or critical services to the community. Sorry, Mark, you wanted to say something?
No. I just mentioned that it's important as well to mention the NGOs as well.
Yes,
they
absolutely.
Play a critical role, especially in terms of volunteers and so forth. It's very critical.
Absolutely.
Okay, we're going to take a commercial break. When we return, we want to focus specifically on hurricane season. And Adan, you being the guru, right, and then having shelters, fall under your umbrella as well. Earlier this morning, we had a caller who is frequently expressed his concern, about shelter. So we can talk about shelter management. We can talk about the availability, of shelter space as well. His concern had to do with the increase in the population, of the Cayman Islands. And we know that there are some entities out there other than government, private entities that have evacuation plans and everything in place. But we don't have the ability to evacuate everyone, so we'd like you to talk a little bit about shelters, shelter management,
that's not a problem.
Things of
We're
that
happy to
nature as
talk
well.
about it.
Folks, don't change that dial. Please stay tuned. If you have any questions, please send them to us via WhatsApp so that I can direct those questions or observations to our guests in the studio. For the record, we'll be back shortly after this commercial break.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
This summer, discover adventure, magic, culture, nature, and so much more with Cayman Airways. Airfares are now on sale for travel this summer. Visit New York, Denver, Los Angeles, Miami, Tampa, Kingston, Montego Bay, Panama, Havana, and La Ceiba. But hurry, sale ends June 1st. Call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or book online at CaymanAirways.com. Make this your best summer yet with Cayman Airways.
When it comes to weekly meal prep, I trust Kirk Market to provide the best value for quality proteins. The butchers at Kirk Market are super helpful. They always slice my steaks perfectly. Kirk Market has everything I need for healthy and flavorful protein-packed meals. From lean cuts of CAB choice beef, tender CAB prime beef, the juiciest pork, and all-natural hormone-free poultry, to their seafood section with everything from fresh local snapper to omega-3 rich salmon. I choose Kirk Market for the highest quality proteins to support my healthy lifestyle. Kirk Market. Eat well, live well, and discover a world of choice.
Public health is the science and art of preventing disease, prolonging life, and promoting health through the organized efforts of society. Environmental health, mental health, and physical health are all public health. Cayman's new national health strategy aims to protect and promote the nation's public health outcomes, but to do this, we need to hear from you. The Ministry of Health and Wellness is now accepting feedback about healthcare in Cayman on mohfeedback@gov.ky or on gov.ky/health-wellness. Deadline is May 31st. Your opinion matters.
The mission of the National Conservation Council and the Department of Environment is to ensure our islands consider responsible use of our natural resources while preserving our native species and habitats for future generations. Learn more at conservation.ky.
Time to sign up for the 4th annual Enviro Walk K-Man. Taking place on Sunday, June 9th at Safe Haven, this 5K walk run aims to bring awareness to environmental issues. Since 2019, Enviro Walk has encouraged participants to protect our environment. Enviro Walk is a fundraiser for Girl Power, Miss World, and Miss Supranational Cayman Islands, and donates to an organization who the participants feel is helping with environmental causes. Early bird pricing available till May 15th. Register at Cayman Active or Tickets Plus. See you on June 9th at Safe Haven. For more info, contact EnviroWalkCayman@gmail.com.
This is For the Record.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. Tomorrow, the beginning, the official start of hurricane season. Here to discuss hurricane season as well as we mentioned other areas of hazard management that the entity engages in as well. On this segment of For the Record, we have Mr. Mark Codlin, Mr. Lennox Vernon, and Mr. Adan Powell Jeffries. And before we went to the commercial break, we were asking Adan to talk about shelters, and I referred to him to the fact that we had an earlier caller this morning who constantly expresses his concerns, about shelter space, and everything, which is a legitimate concern.
Oh yes. So from the general public, their understanding of shelter operations is just the facilities, making sure that the building is there.
Yeah.
But the background work, it's massive. So when we're talking about, I'm going to break it down into two sections. The facilities component of it, and then the human resources, because we need individuals to manage that. But in regards to the facility itself, you need to make sure that the mechanical is good, the electrical, the plumbing, all of that is in a state of readiness. And that takes time because you're working with a magnitude of stakeholders. We're currently, in our program right now, we have PWD, we have DBS, we have DES, we have DH, we have the police, we have the fire service. Every one of those individuals are involved with that and make decisions in regards to that facility. Because if the capacity is incorrect, fire service can shut down the building. That's just one component of it. Yeah. And it has to match with the safety component of it. So now when we're talking about the human resources, the volunteers, the shelter managers, police, the regiment, fire, all of those individuals that are part of the facilities are also included in the human component of it. But we're also incorporating with the managers training such as inventory management, emergency management, stress management, communication, crowd control. All of these trainings have to go on, especially for volunteers. Now, it's difficult because they have their time to do their work on a regular basis and then come after work and do the training. So it's very hard. And for the listening audience that don't understand the shelter operations and just see it as the building is there, it's always there. Yes. It's skewed. So it takes a lot of effort to actually get all those pieces aligned in the state and keep it on the state of readiness. But I'm happy the team has been working really hard, and I'm happy to announce that we're bringing on 3 more sites this year. So we're bringing on our biggest site yet right now is the new John Gray building that finished last year's, and that has a shelter capacity of 2,477.
Okay.
And Bordentown Church of God is coming online. We're anticipating next week it should be finished, and we'll move in and we'll have all the resources in there, so it'll be ready for hurricane season. Along with
and what would be the capacity?
Oh, sorry, my apologies. And the capacity for that is 565.
Okay.
And now we've incorporated Clifton Hunter as not just the gymnasium itself, but an additional building that's right beside it as a shelter now, and that is the performing arts. That shelter capacity now is 368. Overall, we're increasing our shelter capacity by 4%. Of the current population, and that is approximately 84,000 individuals. Compared to 5 years ago when it was 69, our percentage was much higher, but given that we're not erecting buildings as quickly as our population, we have to work with the facilities that we have. And prior to deeming a facility safe, we have to go through a rigorous section. Also, we work with planning, we work with the International Code of Council to make sure that the building it's met all these specifications. And a good example for John Gray High School, the reason why it was delayed so long is that there was a specific section in our policy that we needed to have a specific window type. And this specific window type was only manufactured by one company, and the one company was making windows out of a garage, and they were backed up. So literally, it took years to get those windows in, and luckily we got them, and now it's a shelter. But but I rest assured that every time we go out, we try to find facilities, and we work with private entities to increase our capacity. We go to training with KPMG, Maples, so forth. Just those agencies that have access to major facilities, and we encourage them to adopt our policies and our principles when it comes to shelter management. Because at the end of the day, if we go into a building or at a public go to a building, we want it to be concise, public and private. So that's a training, and we encourage everyone to be a part of it.
Okay. Let's talk about how we communicate with people, the improvements that have been made and those that are coming on stream soon as well. Mr. Codlin.
Sure, thank you, Mr. O.C. So just to highlight, we started an initiative in 2022, to be exact, where we launched our NENS, our mobile app, email, and SMS. I know we have going through a series of campaigns, but what we're focusing on for this year, we're revamping the campaign to make the steps much easier for the users to install the app and have it available. So the app itself provides you various tones, one being a high alert, something significant like an earthquake or major fire that would trigger your phone, both iOS and Android. And also we have a low level tone. So for example, if we have a tropical storm or a hurricane is going to impact us a couple days out, this will give us like a relatively moderate tone to inform the public. So there, if I could just give a bit more detail.
Sure.
What's important for the users to do is, first you visit the website, that's NENS, that's NENS.gov.ky. It's a section, now we're going to revamp the website, but you sign in. For now it says opt-in. Click on the opt-in option. You fill in the various information. It requires your email address. You indicate the various sources which you'd like to receive email notifications. One being email, app which you recommend, and also the SMS, which is text. And once you do that, we did it with data protection regulations. We ensure that we have a privacy notice. You ensure you click that as well. Once you submit that, it indicates a congratulations. Then you go to the App Store or either the Android Play Store, where you can download the app itself. It's BlackBerry AdHoc. That's ATHOC. And once you download the app, it's going to require for you to enter the email address that you registered with.
Okay.
And we ensure that you verify. Once you verify, the last step is it will ask you to check your email. You click on verified. Once you're verified, to ensure that you're an authentic user. Last step is it will ask you for a organization code, which is simply HMCI. And once you enter that, you're connected to the system. If you have any challenges, we have a hotline as well as we can provide the email address here, which is NENS, that's NES @gov.ky. You can email us at any time and we can provide a response to the team. And we also are open, if you have a large group, like an organization, to come in and demonstrate use of the app. We are always open to do that as well. So we encourage persons for the hurricane season to at least, come around, visit the website and download the app and ensure that you have reliable and safe information to inform your families, your friends and colleagues accordingly.
Okay. Mr. Vernon, anything you want to add to that?
Absolutely. So on the two topics that we talked about, one, we'd like to celebrate that yesterday we had a shelter management training and we had over 90 participants / volunteers, and that is really good. Again, people are giving their time. They could have been out having dinner or doing something else, but they gave up their time to volunteer, to learn more and to give back in their respective community or otherwise. So we are very happy about that. And as Adan mentioned, we have 3 new shelters coming online. We have a few more in the pipeline, but again, that rigorous approach to ensuring that they're safe, that they're ready, that we have volunteers. So I can also say this might be a call for volunteers as well. We put something out a couple of days ago, but we're always looking for people to assist us, whether it's in the shelter, whether it's in our CERT teams, and other capacities as well. From the NEN side, once again, as Mark said, we are going through a process of updating some of our media and text. And again, we have just over 7,000 subscribers. And again, our population is constantly increasing. We have 84,000, as you mentioned earlier. And truly, 7,000 is only a drop in the bucket.
Yes, less than 10%.
Absolutely. So we are encouraging people to visit the website. Again, it's nens.gov.ky. And did I have that right? Yeah.
Yes.
nens.gov.ky. Visit the website, follow the instructions, and I would urge you to follow the instructions. Don't do your typical go to the App Store or Play Store and just simply download, but follow these instructions and you shouldn't have any problems downloading it. But again, one of the things that we stress or emphasize when we talk about the NEOC is that when there's an activation, government speaks with one voice. One of those streams is Radio Cayman. It's that whenever a decision is made or there's an update to the public, we have official sources, Radio Cayman being one, as I said. We have the NENS app or we have the Radio Interrupt, and we just want to ensure that people are getting the right information.
Yes.
We've seen in a number of circumstances someone hear that there was an earthquake or something like that, and they suddenly become, a seismologist or an expert, or armchair. What do you call it? Scientist or something like that. And again, we want you to listen to the official sources because we're going to verify, we're going to validate that information before we put it out there.
Okay, we're going to take another commercial break. When we return, the conversation will continue with Mr. Mark Codlin, Mr. Lennox Vernon, and Mr. Adan Powell Jeffries. Don't change that dial. We're talking about hurricane season, which starts tomorrow, the 1st of June. So many things that you need to know about. And these three gentlemen in the studio with us, they're all specialists within their field, so they have lots of valuable information to share with you. You need to listen because the life you save may just be your own. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
Did you know that you can send money transfers to financial institutions anywhere in Jamaica with JN Money?
You mean I can send money straight to my account and cut out the middleman?
Yes, that's exactly what I mean. You send your own money to your own account, giving you peace of mind that the money is in your account.
JN Money Transfers to Financial Institution is another convenient service offered by JN Money. You can have this done from any JN Money location. Deposit your money straight to your account without the hassle of asking someone to do it for you. JN Money Transfers to Financial Institutions, making life easier.
West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers, a compounding story.
I don't think people realize how pain creeps into your life. It has a way of robbing your strength. I really don't like taking prescription medication orally.
West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers. They understand.
When it comes to compounded medication, it's personal. So whenever there's a problem with some medication or treatments that's not working right, then a physician will call me and say, hey, they're having bad side effects from this medication.
Compounding pain cream changed the game. Made special for me. Significant pain relief in the form of a cream. That is a new experience for me.
It's changed his life.
It worked.
Ask your pharmacist or healthcare provider about compounding at West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers. Call 914-6449.
Ladies and gentlemen, have you heard the news? Digicel is back with exciting offers that are too good to resist. Activate one of our brand new prepaid or postpaid plans today and experience telecommunications like never before. With more data, dedicated entertainment options like Netflix, YouTube, Spotify, and endless social text data for all your favorite platforms. Digicel is here to make sure you stay connected and entertained. Whether you are on a prepaid or postpaid, you will also enjoy dedicated roaming data for the USA, Canada, and the Caribbean. It's all about value, and Digicel has got you covered.
This summer, discover adventure, magic, culture, nature, and so much more with Cayman Airways. Airfares are now on sale for travel this summer. Visit New York, Denver, Los Angeles, Miami, Tampa, Kingston, Montego Bay, Panama, Havana, and La Ceiba. But hurry, sale ends June 1st. Call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or book online at CaymanAirways.com. Make this your best summer yet with Cayman Airways.
When it comes to weekly meal prep, I trust Kirk Market to provide the best value for quality proteins. The butchers at Kirk Market are super helpful. They always slice my steaks perfectly. Kirk Market has everything I need for healthy and flavorful protein-packed meals. From lean cuts of CAB choice beef, tender CAB prime beef, the juiciest pork, and all-natural hormone-free poultry, to their seafood section with everything from fresh local snapper to omega-3 rich salmon. I choose Kirk Market for the highest quality proteins to support my healthy lifestyle. Kirk Market. Eat well, live well, and discover a world of choice.
Cayman Islands, your input can shape our future. Plan Cayman needs your input on the updated planning statement to create a sustainable community for everyone. Help shape Cayman's future by participating in public consultations with the Central Planning Authority and the Ministries for Planning and Sustainability. Together, we can build a thriving Cayman. For details and to find the meeting closest to you, visit plancayman.ky. Your voice matters. Let's plan Cayman together.
With Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We're talking about hurricane season, which officially begins tomorrow, the 1st of June. In the studio with me, Mr. Mark Codlin, Mr. Lennox Vernon, and Mr. Adan Powell. We're going to talk about shelter management some more and volunteerism. And I realize that you gentlemen, you're all civil servants, so I won't put you on the spot, but I can say this as the host, that we are seeing on some social media chat groups, persons talking, about various nationalities volunteering to be shelter managers. And everyone with the ability and the capability has the opportunity to volunteer and to, apply. As well. And at the end of the day, it is about preserving and saving lives, more than anything else. But if you can speak to a little bit more about shelter management, and we can't forget the BRACs, our sister islands, and some of the initiatives that have taken place over there as well.
Yes, how can I forget the sister islands?
Yes.
So yes, Hazard Management did a training back in the beginning of May. I think it was the 7th and the 8th. In regards to shelter management for Cayman Brac. It was extremely successful. Big shout out to the district admin for all the support and the hospitality. It was really excellent and was successful. But in relations to the nationalities and the cultures in regarding to shelter management and wanting to be involved from hazard management standpoint and a government standpoint, we're calling out anyone and everyone. Basically, although we have like a criteria of when it comes to management team having a good communication skills, good under stress, this is little small stuff that we identify. But the bigger picture of shelter operations is preserve life. And at the end of the day, we're all humans, and that's how we see it. There's a lot of communities out there that want to be involved. And if you want to be involved, our program runs year round. Our programs are constantly evolving. We're constantly improving our programs. So if you feel like, hey, I lived in a different region, different country that has different procedures that can complement our operations, we're more than happy to do it. In regards to that, I want to talk about also the expectations from not just the shelter management team, but the visitors or the shelteries that we call individuals. There's a miscommunication or misunderstanding that shelters itself is a safe haven that provides you with all the resources. That is misleading. When you come to a shelter, we want you to come with your water, your non-perishable food. We want you to be self-sustainable for a small iteration. Our shelters are divided in two sections. This is more technical. Well, when individuals come to our shelters, the longest you'll probably stay is 72 hours. That is the longest. And anything after that, government as a standpoint, we're looking at more resources to actually accommodate or displace families in bigger areas. Because obviously you're taking mental, physically space and restrictions, and we're trying to increase it as well. But yeah, shelter management is a whole beast. So having your resources, having a plan in place, knowing which shelter is close to you, family members, all those individuals that would most likely need to go to a shelter, it's better to identify that than in the midst of the response when we're at alert, warning, or a watch phase. So having that plan there is critical or advantageous from the community standpoint. And we've seen, and we've all been witness to oh, there's a hurricane warning, everyone's running to Foster's. The line is so long that you're in line for an hour just to get into the building. So we encourage individuals, have a little plan. My plan might be silly, and what I normally do is April and May, I buy a lot of corned beef, a lot of water, and I sit on it till November. And now my kids get frustrated. By the end of November, that's corned beef week. Corned beef and water and rice and corn.
I remember after Hurricane Ivan, we that at the fire station for days.
They don't like that week or that month, but we got to do it.
Yeah.
We got to do it.
Yep. Let's talk about our interaction with our international and regional partners as well.
So I guess I can touch a little bit on that. So we recently, well, before I get there, we've partnered with CDEMA, which stands for Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency, a number of years ago. So that gives us a number of resources within the Caribbean community. So if we are impacted by a disaster of some sort, they would provide aid to us, whether it's manpower or even food supplies or hardware. So CDEMA is a valuable asset to us. Recently, we did an exercise with GSD, Global Support Development, and they assisted us with taking some items over to the BRAC. So they're showing the capacity with a ship that they have, which is called the MV Dawn, and that was very enlightening, to say the least, on their ability to support us, all free of cost, by the way, in providing aid to us. And they have a number of resources on board, in addition to manpower or skilled expertise from their staff. They also have the chamber. They have
hyperbaric
chamber.
Yep.
They have a fleet of boats or landing ships, as they call them.
Aerial.
Yeah. So and 2 large cranes on board. So they have the ability to provide roll-on, roll-off service that would maximize on transportation or freight movement. So that is one of the newest resources that we have within our toolkit. Among other things. So we depend on, other local freight forwarders to provide us aid. So in addition to that, we are ensuring that, everyone is apprised from the New York standpoint that these resources are available to them to utilize when the need arises.
What about collaboration with our local suppliers like Progressive and all of those? There are standing agreements with them in terms of the supply of vital items as well?
Yes, absolutely. I don't want to steal Adan's thunder, but Adan has been very instrumental, although it's been an agreement for a number of years with the local grocers and hardware stores that immediately before a threat, as long as it's a slow onset, we have the ability to get additional food or supplies delivered to us, provided that they have the availability and the ability to provide those things. So there are plans in place, and even after an event impacts us, we again have agreements where people would support us in various capacities. So, for example, we have 12 distribution sites all across the island. Not a lot of people know that, but these are just simple, open, big spaces where we will deliver food and or other aid. Yep. We have 2 warehouses filled with relief supplies, so cleanup kits, sanitation kits, that would help people get through that immediate aftermath so that they can start to get back on their feet. So a number of initiatives we talked about, our director talked about, a cash, I can't remember the term though, the immediate aftermath where people are having difficulty with the finance system because it's most likely not available to them.
Oh, yes.
So it's providing them with, that support where they can get, necessities.
Oh, no. So just to speak on resources as well, given that we had a nor'wester at the beginning of the year, the air ops were were really helpful in trying to get a quick assessment. And in an era where we want results, we want an answer from a government standpoint, and from an international standpoint, we want answers based on the aftermath of it. Getting that information, the right information, right after the storm is critical. And big shout out to the Air Operations Unit. I also want to shout out to our local vendors that are partnered up with us and provide us with this this food supply or the inventory supply pre-impact. Foster's, Progressives, and Hurley's. Cost you less. We reach out to major vendors that can support us in that whole operation. We do understand it's massive and it has implications in your organization, but we're extremely grateful. Not just from hazard management standpoint, but as a government, we're extremely grateful.
Okay, Mark, you want to squeeze in another word before we close off?
No, sure. I mean, I think he mentioned a key point with the support from RCIPS, with the aerial support. So after any major disaster, we have aerial support that gives us aerial images that provides us what's happening on the ground after any major disaster, not necessarily a hurricane, but even an earthquake as well. And this provides us really good insight in terms of where do we dispatch our damage assessment teams. And these guys, they would go out there, and ladies, of course, would go out there and collect information as it relates to what's the level of damage to buildings, to infrastructure. And that information is actually provided almost near real time through our mobile app system. It provides us information back to our operations center. We can make the right decisions going forward in terms of how could we allocate resources appropriately.
Okay, and in September we will be celebrating, if you want to call it that, the 20th anniversary of Hurricane Ivan. In the three of your gentlemen's assessment, how far have we come since Hurricane Ivan in terms of our preparedness and not only our preparedness, but our ability to respond and to recover after a hurricane?
Well, I probably could start first. I wasn't here for Ivan, but I mean, based on what I've seen so far, I was in Jamaica at that time, but I can definitely see there's much more awareness amongst the community and individuals. I can definitely say that for sure.
Oh yes. In relations to what's new, I lost my chain of thought just a while. So, changing the culture, it's difficult, extremely difficult, especially in a culture where we're reactive. But we've seen that individuals take the time, go to the supermarket beginning of the hurricane season, and actually get their supplies. So we've seen that culture change. Now, when it comes to information, we see more people connected to our app or more presence in our social media, basically asking hazard management, we want more information. We want to see this. Sadly, being reactive, and we got a good number and we good turnout when it came to the earthquake, because a lot of individuals weren't expecting, we're going to have a major earthquake, and it's something that we can't predict. But our media presence and our followers increase as an aftermath of that.
And then they stay with you once
they stay with us.
Yes,
and when it comes to the 4 pillars, and I briefly spoke on preparedness, mitigation, response, and recovery. We've been doing a magnitude of outreach programs. We have our certs, we do our presentations, not just a private, public. We go to schools, we go everywhere that you ask. So we encourage you, if you want a presentation to your office, please reach out to hmci@gov.ky and schedule a time and a date where you want this training.
Okay, they're telling me it's after 9, but I want to give Mr. Vernon an opportunity for his viewpoint on where we are now as well.
Thank you very much, Mr. Connor. You did say something at the end of the segment prior that was very inspirational. The life you may save may be your own, and that is very critical. Again, having a plan or a stupid plan is better than no plan whatsoever. And on the side of volunteerism, again, we provide free training, because the better equipped we can have the community, the easier our jobs are. And as you said, that life that you save may be your own, maybe a loved one, maybe a friend, a neighbor, or something like that. And it just makes us more resilient. It allows us to bounce back quicker, and you're just not leaving that responsibility on the government itself and just sat back thinking, oh, well, somebody's going to come, somebody's going to help me. But if you're equipped with that knowledge, old adage is, teach a man to fish, he eat for the rest of his life. So it's just having that resilience, that understanding, that ability to respond and react to whatever life throws at you. The only parting gift I would say today is, in addition to having a plan, is have a preparedness pack that at any given point in time, you are ready to go.
Yep. Gentlemen, I want to thank you all very much for the excellent work that you do as well, in terms of either keeping us safe or advising us of how to stay safe as well. Folks, we've gone almost 3 minutes past. Headline news. When we return, we will have Mr. Kara Powery and Mr. Simon Boxall in the studio with us. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
Thank you.
Information, entertainment, inspiration.
Covering Grand Cayman, Little Cayman, Cayman Brac.
Since 1976 till now.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Local, regional, international news.
The Headline News is brought to you by Kirk Market and Health Services Authority.
The radar system temporarily shuts down. According to government, at 4 p.m. on Thursday, the Weather Service's technical team detected a fault at the Kearney-Gomez Doppler radar system, which had temporarily ceased operation. Immediate troubleshooting efforts were undertaken on site, which resulted in the identification of a misalignment within the system, a quote, common occurrence that can arise following significant repairs or maintenance. With remote support from the manufacturer, technicians correctly diagnosed and repaired the problem. The necessary adjustments were completed and the radar was successfully restored to full operational status as of 10:30 p.m. the same day. The Director General said, quote, this incident highlights the responsiveness and expertise of our technical team, coupled with the invaluable support from our radar manufacturer. Together, quote, we ensured minimal disruption to our weather monitoring services, and we remain committed to maintaining the highest standards of operational excellence. Those are your headlines. I'm Karsley Fuller.
More news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
When you have a sports or fitness-related injury, trust the expertise of the HSA Sports and Exercise Medicine Clinic to get you back in the game. Our internationally trained and certified physicians specialize in sports traumatology, sports medicine, pain management, and orthopedic surgery. For treatment of common injuries such as tendonitis, arthritis, tennis elbow, rotator cuff, or knee tears, schedule a consultation with the Sports and Exercise Medicine Clinic at Smith Road Medical Center by calling 949-8600 or visit hsa.ky for more information.
When it comes to weekly meal prep, I trust Kirk Market to provide the best value for quality proteins. The butchers at Kirk Market are super helpful. They always slice my steaks perfectly. Kirk Market has everything I need for healthy and flavorful protein-packed meals. From lean cuts of CAB choice beef, tender CAB prime beef, the juiciest pork, and all-natural hormone-free poultry, to their seafood section with everything from fresh local snapper to omega-3 rich salmon. I choose Kirk Market for the highest quality proteins to support my healthy lifestyle. Kirk Market. Eat well, live well, and discover a world of choice.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. I'm keeping all of my promises so far this morning. So, as a matter of fact, I may have under-promised on this second segment of it. I told you that we would have in the studio with us Mr. Kerry Powery and Mr. Simon Boxall, but we have also been graced with the presence of the birthday lady, Miss Teresita De Silva, who is the Planning and Preparedness Manager at Hazard Management Cayman. So, folks, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Ms. Stacy. Thank you for having us. Thanks for having us.
Great to have you as well. Hurricane season with us again, and I shared with the previous guest. Actually, I shared with my audience this morning that in 1966, I think it was the 5th of June, 1966, Hurricane Alma threatened the Cayman Islands coming off the coast of Honduras. So the first hurricane of the season on the 5th of June, 1966. And it can happen at any point in time as well. So we're going to start. Well, Simon, I'm going to have you introduce, our panelists as well. And since the news is out there about the Kearney-Gomez Doppler radar system, we will have Mr. Carey, talk a little bit about forecasting and everything else and how vital it is. And while there are certain things that you can't say on air, I can say it on air in terms of whether or not, and there are those out there who are saying that we probably need some sort of a backup to, or a substitute for that Doppler radar system, whether or not we may not, because there's so much available out there to us in terms of our regional partners as well. Maybe not, but we can talk about what we have, and those persons who have their doubts then can decide whether or not we have enough. But Simon, over to you.
Great. Thank you, Mr. O.C. Thanks for having us. And I'm Simon Boxall. I'm the Communications Public Awareness Training Officer, and we are joined beside me by Mr. Kerry Powery, Chief Forecaster for the Cayman Islands National Weather Service, a critical partner for Cayman Islands and a great asset, and our Planning and Preparedness Manager for Hazard Management Cayman Islands, Teresita Da Silva, is doing an incredible job, working hard, and so we do really appreciate the opportunity to be here. I'm going to let Kerry deal with the radar thing, but it's great to see that it was working this morning. Yes. So I don't know if you want me to add, but I do definitely agree. It's incredible to have access to things like satellite imagery and regional, Met offices too, which you work with, I think, as well. But having our own equipment, and we're moving ahead with a bunch of sensors. I think Mark was talking a little bit about flood sensors. We've been working with NOAA on installing additional storm surge sensors, and I think Kerry will probably talk about the plans to put in, get a digital printing device, which we can make the housings for many more sensors. So if we get events like hurricanes passing to the south, and we know the sea is breached by Little Pedro Point, and there's salt water rushing across the road,
the gully,
we'll know in advance. We'll be able to tell people, we were talking, Kerry and I, about Mitch, where we had 12 straight days of this torrential downpour before the hurricane passed 200 miles to the south. But, if the ground is completely saturated like that, it's much more likely the trees will come out of the ground. So these types of information will provide a great resource for our residents as they're traveling on our road network, and we're seeing these perigean tides covering the roads at times there. So there's lots of good work, but I think it is important for us to continue to have our own equipment like the radar, and when people get used to having it, they feel a little bit at a loss when it's gone.
Yeah. So we can start off then with forecasting and how important forecasting is, and the forecast for this upcoming hurricane season as well.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having us. The NOAA's prediction for this year is calling for 17 to 25 named storms, 8 to 13 hurricanes, and 4 to 7 major hurricanes. That's category 3 and above, the most dangerous hurricanes. Like I mentioned earlier in the previous discussion, I do not recollect the National Hurricane Center providing such a high level of confidence of having more activity than normal this year, right? They did predict above normal averages last year, which did occur, but fortunately for us, we were not impacted by much system. I think Dahlia might have been the one that caused some stirs of the sea bed and the waves, especially on the west coast, as it moved away from us and provided some rainfall. But that was mainly the most significant impact that we had. Again, the numbers are high. There's a general consensus from everybody that's doing research on hurricane that it will be active. One of the primary reasons is the warm sea surface temperatures around the Caribbean, which help to fuel or even maintain storms as they traverse through the area. The numbers are high, and if we take our time and prepared, we be in a better position to whatever the outcome may be. The forecast could change. We've seen better forecasts being made by the National Hurricane Center, which we use, and then we provide the local insight to make it specific to the Cayman Islands. But once you are prepared, you have, I don't want to say less stress, but instead of rushing last minute to do all the preparation, if you take your time and put things in place, you're in a better position to overcome those challenges and recover. Resilience is the word, and everyone in the community should be making the necessary plans to prepare.
Now, have these forecasters, have they enhanced their ability to do more accurate forecasting? They have built up, I would imagine, information and technology over the years that improves on their accuracy?
Yes, they're constantly doing research. There's a new model that they will put out operationally that the National Hurricane Center uses. To give you a bit of an insight, they don't just rely on one model. They use multiple models, and then they sometimes take a consensus or sometimes disagree with a particular model. But that's based on their experience, what they're seeing. As you mentioned, the tools available. The new age satellites are giving much better resolution. And now, if necessary, they could give you 1 minute imagery, as opposed to decades ago you might have had, when it first started, maybe 1 image per hour. Then it went to every hour, and now it's 5-10 minutes on a regular basis. So new technology is there. We have the Orrett radar, and they have the Caribbean network of radars. We are also, the National Weather Service is part of the cooperative upper air hurricane system sponsored by the United States, which we release upper air balloon soundings to be able to sample the atmosphere, all that information from our observations at the surface as well, and those regionally and across the world are ingested into the models, and then that help us to make the predictions.
Great. Sounds great. Okay, we're going to take our first commercial break. When we return, we want to talk about planning and preparedness as well, and who better to talk about that than the manager at Hazard Management Cayman, Miss Teresita De Silva. Folks, don't change that dial. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
So much happening so fast, too much. It is hard for me to follow my health care instructions. The private counseling with West Bay Pharmacy literally saved my life.
At West Bay Pharmacy, we know how complex medications can be. Our pharmacists are delighted to offer you personalized one-on-one healthcare counseling, free medication review, therapeutic callbacks, and we will liaise with your physician to ensure you receive the best in quality medical care.
Quality of life has a whole new meaning with the right pharmacy to support you. Thank you, West Bay Pharmacy.
West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers. Convenient quality care is just around the corner. Now you can WhatsApp your West Bay Pharmacy prescriptions to 516-0777.
She hear clunk and her car stop. I was just about to send her some money, so I send it straight to her JN Money transfer card. It cost me less, and perhaps she use the card, pay the garage right away. She'll get discount through the JN Rewards program in Jamaica. This card make things easy. You can even get funds at any multi-link ATM.
JN Money Transfer Card. Fast, affordable, convenient. Tell your loved ones in Jamaica about it. Sign up is free.
This summer, discover adventure, magic, culture, nature, and so much more with Cayman Airways. Airfares are now on sale for travel this summer. Visit New York, Denver, Los Angeles, Miami, Tampa, Kingston, Montego Bay, Panama, Havana, and La Ceiba. But hurry, sale ends June 1st. Call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or book online at CaymanAirways.com. Make this your best summer yet with Cayman Airways.
Your dream home starts with a vision, and often inspiration is at the heart of that vision. Brand Source Home Gallery's in-house designers are here to help bring your vision to life. Whether you're remodeling or building a new home, Brand Source Home Gallery is your one-stop solution. Explore their kitchen cabinets, sinks, faucets, bath fixtures, tubs, vanities, and more. Let Brand Source's designers help and inspire you with your next project. Call 623-5000 and schedule an appointment with a design expert at Brand Source Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, serving Cayman for 50 years.
Public health is the science and art of preventing disease, prolonging life, and promoting health through the organized efforts of society. Environmental health, mental health, and physical health are all public health. Cayman's new national health strategy aims to protect and promote the nation's public health outcomes, but to do this, we need to hear from you. The Ministry of Health and Wellness is now accepting feedback about healthcare in Cayman on mohfeedback@gov.ky or on gov.ky/health-wellness. Deadline is May 31st. Your opinion matters.
Attention parents and guardians. Registration for Cayman Islands government schools for the 2024 to 2025 academic year closes on June 30th. By law, all children turning 5 by August 31st must be enrolled in an approved government, private, or homeschooling program. Don't miss out. Visit schools.edu.ky/registration to learn more and secure a spot for your child today. This message is brought to you from the Department of Education Services.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We're talking about the upcoming hurricane season, which starts tomorrow, the 1st of June. We know some of you out there may have weathered the storm on several occasions. Then there are many of you out there who have never experienced a storm before. You may have even been born in the Cayman Islands and never experienced it. Or you may come from other jurisdictions where hurricanes are certainly not a part of the weather pattern, and you don't have to worry about it. But you are here in the Cayman Islands now, so it is important for you to plan. It is important for you to be prepared as well. And that is what Hazard Management Cayman is all about, giving you advice on how to plan and prepare. Mr. Teresita, over to you, ma'am.
Thank you. While we are talking about hurricanes, it's important to note that Hazard Management promotes preparedness for any type of event. So what we've been doing in the last couple of months is doing a significant number of presentations to schools as well as private organizations. So talking about hurricane preparedness, talking about flooding, earthquakes, fires, anything that can impact the community. So while June 1st is tomorrow, anything can happen between now and then. So don't just focus on hurricanes, but you want to make sure that you're prepared for anything. Because as we see, we are going to go into the rainy season, so it may not be a hurricane. It can just be flooding in an isolated area, and you could be impacted and have to move to a hotel or a shelter, because we do open our shelters for flooding as well as fires. It's not just hurricanes that we focus on, or that we would assist persons in the community. So just take the time to build your emergency kit. It's no longer a hurricane kit. We want it to be an emergency kit. Okay. So build your emergency kit with all the things that you may need, that your family may need, whether it's special medication, special food. If you have pets, make sure you have items for them as well. And just take care of everyone in your family. It's also important, and we try to push this a lot, to involve the children. My son is 4, my daughter's 5 or 6 now. But they're very familiar with what earthquakes and hurricanes and different things are. And I talk to them a lot about it. So they're not scared. They're not anxious when things happen. They actually can, tell me things about it. So just having them involved in that process, as well as packing their own bags, it kind of takes the stress off of parents or relatives when something does happen. So just having that general awareness within your family and that general preparedness within your family is, quite important. And not just presentations. We also go out into the community and train, community emergency response teams. And we're doing a refresher right now, or next week, with some of our current volunteers, just to get them up to date with their training, refresh them on some of the skills that they learned, as well as make sure that they're first aid trained again. So, they play a critical role in our national structure, because they'll be on the ground when something takes place. We'll be in our office, trying to coordinate, but they'll be on the forefront, helping their community, feeding information back to us. And it's not just important for their community, but also their organization, because if something takes place at their workplace, they have certain skills and knowledge that they can help as well. So they're a definite asset for the community as well as the organization that they work with. So throughout the year, we tend to do 2 to 3 trainings to get as much people involved as possible, to increase the resiliency of our country as a whole, because we can't do it all. We're a very small team. Emergency services are stretched. So if we can get people that are prepared, that have certain skills, that can step in until emergency services can get there, then that makes a world of a difference for us.
And how has the response been in terms of people volunteering?
The CERT program is really good. It fills up really quickly. As soon as we post on our Facebook, we get people, wanting to volunteer really quickly. So it's been a good uptake right now. I mean, we posted it a few days ago, and we have 32 people already. So we've had to close it because we try to cap it at 30 to 32 just to make sure we have that proper engagement.
Yes.
So yeah, it's quite popular because, you get your kit, you get your bags, and, you become a part of a team. You get to respond to different things. You get to be involved in certain trainings. So it's a good way to build your skills, to network, to help your community, and just make a difference overall.
So, Mr. Simon, coming over to you now, sir. We know that since Hurricane Ivan, we have embarked on several initiatives, enhanced modeling, storm surge and all of those things. Talk about some of the things that we have done so far, what we actually have finalized, and what may still be in the works.
Thank you for that. We were talking earlier on about the advancements in our capacity to forecast and anticipate. And in the break, we briefly talked about how back in the day, these things kind of came out of the blue. People did have good instincts, and they could tell different wind directions, or they used the barometer. But nowadays we do have a lot of different tools, and one of the most important, we feel, is the storm surge model, which is being done by NOAA, the National Oceanographic and Atmospheric Administration in the U.S.
Yes.
And so that's going to be running. They're running about 100,000 different hurricane scenarios, size of the wind field, angle of the approach, forward speed, and wind velocity. So we anticipate getting that by the end of the year. It's a work in progress right now. They're finishing up, I think Bahamas was completed, and they're working now on Jamaica and Cayman. And that's going to be hugely important for us, because one of the things we have in our legislation is the ability to issue evacuation orders. We've never really done it because, it's difficult to predict really how high the sea is going to come up. But we do worry, particularly some of our elderly who, they may be at home in adult diapers, and they don't like the loud noises in the shelters and so on. They're very resistant, many of them, to leave. So if we have, large numbers of our community, as you mentioned, either have come from other countries where they're not familiar with hurricanes, or they were too young to know what Ivan was like, and now they have children of their own maybe. The idea that the sea can come up, and we witnessed it, coming up past our windows and fish swimming by, it just seemed like unbelievable. A third of all the vehicles were destroyed. The trouble with it is people tend to anchor to their experience of the worst possible event they've been through. And for a lot of us, that was either Ivan, or if you're in the BRAC, it was Paloma.
Yes, yeah.
So people really can't conceive of the possibility of anything being worse. And while it's very unlikely, I mean, it's 20 years since we were hit hard here in Grand Cayman, as you mentioned. What would happen if we had like a Dorian-type surge that they had in Bahamas, which is, approaching 20 feet? Then you're looking at possibly hundreds of people, we had 80% of our houses have seawater come into them. But now it's becoming a serious life threat. So our ability to predict and anticipate would be greatly enhanced if we have these inundation models. And we're improving our sensors. Mark was in earlier, I think, talking, a hazard mitigation specialist. about how we can start to tell the moisture levels in the ground. If we have periods of extended rainfall where the ground is very saturated, like before Mitch, trees are falling out of the ground much more easily. We know that it breaches in places like Little Pedro Point when hurricanes pass to the south, because you have very deep water off that area, and that enables a huge wave, because the wave height can only be about 3/4 of the depth of the water. 0.82 is the maximum. So if you have 20 feet of water offshore, you can get a 15-foot wave come over there, and each cubic meter of water weighs a ton, which has enormous power. So even structures close to that could be damaged, but we see the sea breach, cross the island, and then empty out all the way into the North Sound. So that is actually a threat for people driving over, because it doesn't take much more than a foot or a foot and a half of water to lift a car. And obviously salt is not good for your vehicle. So we're effectively cutting off 1/2 of Grand Cayman at that particular point at the moment. I mean, they're talking about building another road. But if we start having sensors, we can inform people in advance. They can make good decisions. When we see these perigean tides, when the sun and the moon are aligned and gravity is causing these bulges of the water, that, you know, the sea is covering the roads at times of the year now. So people need this information. People want the information, and when they don't get it, like when the radar gets down, they get anxious and they want it back. So we need, I think, to keep on pushing for more, better data, and improving our capacity to appropriately inform our residents so they can make good decisions about their safety for their property and for their lives.
Okay. So we're going to take a commercial break. When we return, in order for you to be prepared, you also have to be informed as well, well informed. So, and we know that Mr. Codlin spoke about the NENS system, and we want to talk some more about that as well, because that's the one of the ways that you will be able to communicate. We want to hear more from the National Weather Service, you know, as well, in terms of, you know, how they get their information out there. We know, I know every morning when I come in, Miss Susan is out there, you know, on the phone or whatever, getting that information in terms of, you know, what the weather conditions are, what's coming out of there, and their ability to communicate with the populace of the Cayman Islands as well. We'll talk some more about that. Folks, don't change that dial. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
Are you feeling sick, but don't feel ill enough to go to the doctor? Ask your pharmacist for advice. Here at West Bay Pharmacy, our pharmacists have been trained to offer helpful, easy-to-understand advice on the treatment of everyday minor ailments for yourself and all the family. Anything from headaches, cough and sore throat, to cold sores, our pharmacists will know when medical help is needed and will not hesitate to refer you to your doctor if your symptoms demand it. Like doctors, our pharmacists have a professional code, which means all personal information you give them will be treated in the strictest confidence. Visit us today at West Bay Pharmacy, where we care about your health.
Ladies and gentlemen, have you heard the news? Digicel is back with exciting offers that are too good to resist. Activate one of our brand new prepaid or postpaid plans today and experience telecommunications like never before. With more data, dedicated entertainment options like Netflix, YouTube, Spotify, and endless social text data for all your favorite platforms. Digicel is here to make sure you stay connected and entertained. Whether you are on a prepaid or postpaid, you will also enjoy dedicated roaming data for the USA, Canada, and the Caribbean. It's all about value, and Digicel has got you covered.
When it comes to weekly meal prep, I trust Kirk Market to provide the best value for quality proteins. The butchers at Kirk Market are super helpful. They always slice my steaks perfectly. Kirk Market has everything I need for healthy and flavorful protein-packed meals. From lean cuts of CAB choice beef, tender CAB prime beef, the juiciest pork, and all-natural hormone-free poultry, to their seafood section with everything from fresh local snapper to omega-3 rich salmon. I choose Kirk Market for the highest quality proteins to support my healthy lifestyle. Kirk Market. Eat well, live well, and discover a world of choice.
The Economics and Statistics Office is currently conducting the annual business surveys until June 14th. The surveys seek to collect information needed to answer these questions. How did the economy perform in 2023? In 2023, how much did foreign companies invest in the Cayman Islands? The surveys include all relevant entities that produce goods and services in the Cayman Islands. The surveys are confidential under the Statistics Act and are exempt from the Freedom of Information Act. Your response matters. Do your part. Fill out and return your survey forms to the ESO. Remember, better data, better decisions, better business. For assistance in filling out the forms or for more information, visit www.eso.ky or call 244-4676 or 244-4600.
The Ministry of Education and the Passport and Corporate Services Office remind all students traveling to and from school overseas to ensure their passports are valid for both travel and entry into their destination country. Passports should be renewed at least 10 weeks before departure, and any necessary student visas must be obtained. For passport services, contact the Passport and Corporate Services Office at 649-7678. For Ministry of Education scholarship inquiries, contact scholarships@gov.ky. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Education and the Passport and Corporate Services Office.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We're talking about hurricane season, which begins tomorrow, the 1st of June. But as Mr. Silva has reminded us, that hazard management is there not just for hurricane season, but to address all of the other hazards that we may encounter here in the Cayman Islands as well. And of course, communications is the key to all of this as well. And we have seen tremendous improvements in the way that you're able to communicate with the populace. And so we want to hear from the National Weather Service in terms of their ability to communicate, as well as advice when persons are looking for information, especially during a hurricane, that there may be various sources that they may want to access, but your advice in terms of reliability and getting the correct local information as well, Mr. Powery.
Yes, thank you. In terms of local information, again, government press releases would contain National Weather Service information with collaborations with hazard management, and the Department of Comms will draft up the appropriate policies. In terms of predictions and stuff like that, the National Weather Service has a website, weather.gov.ky. We also are on our Facebook page, and we're developing products, little graphics that get the message across. Again, with the advancement of technology, you're kind of starting to move away from the long text type documents to something that any user could pick up and look at and know exactly what's happening without having to go into too much details. Red means danger, green means okay, that type of scenario. So we are developing products like that. And in terms of the modeling capability, we are also looking at doing some finer resolutions for the Cayman Islands based on already improved modeling through the years. The computation capabilities, what used to take us a forecast to download alone, now it's just a couple of minutes, and then we could process that data more efficiently, more quickly, and get the information to the public quite readily. Another source that the National Weather Service has control of is the weather radio, 107.9 FM, and that we daily update our forecast, and any bulletin that emanates from us and through government relating to weather would be placed there, so the public can have access to those tools throughout any emergency. We have always collaborated greatly with HMCI and the overall NEOC operation. So we do our input, we provide the guidance from what we see the forecast is happening, and then the executive of the NEOC decides what takes priority and what type of action should be taken, and then the publication goes out. From our perspective, we just advise on the weather conditions, and we leave the advice and the activities to be taken to HMCI and decisions coming from the government. So there might be a delay between what we present and what the government puts out as a public statement, but rest assured that we have provided the as correct as we think it can information to make the best possible choices and decisions by the government.
Okay, Mr. Silva, anything you want to add to?
Well, just in relation to what Kerry is talking about, so part of our role is, to take their very technical information and put into layman's terms.
Paul wants you to bring that mic a little closer to you.
Put into layman's terms, a person can really understand how the weather will impact them, because they may not understand, what the scientific data is saying. And that's kind of one of the things we've experienced over the last couple of events. So just learning from that and tailoring our approach and our communication to the public to make sure that what we're trying to tell them is what they're understanding, and the actions that we want them to take is what they understand that they should be doing at that time. So just making sure that we're feeding them information that is as straight to the point and simple as possible, so that there's no miscommunication, no misunderstanding, and they know what they need to do at that given time.
Excellent. I'm told that we have a caller. Let's grab the caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. O'Connor.
Good morning, sir. Good morning again.
Morning.
Yes. Well, we always hear every year to be prepared. But the government's not prepared today the way that we should be when it comes to protecting our people. We should have hurricane shelters at least 10 feet in height, the foundation. Global warming getting worse. That means more hurricanes. Came on already 3 feet below sea level. And I proved that myself, coming from 12 Mile Bank. So, government cannot continue putting our people in hurricane shelters that are level with the ground. And they need to start putting life vests in those places until they do what they need to do and build the kind of buildings that they should have. That they're able to keep their equipment and everything else that they need after the hurricane in that same building. These buildings that are 10 stories, that should be part of the concession deal, that these buildings can be used as hurricane shelters in case we get a tsunami. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, caller, for that as well. And
Dan, respond to that.
Yeah,
do you want to? Sure, it's a good point that he raised. I mean, it's something that we have identified, that there are some older shelters that are in low-lying areas. It's not missed by us. We're very much aware of it. And what we're trying to do is work with, if there's new government buildings coming online, trying to see how we can tailor them to be more climate change friendly, more environmentally and suitable for us to use. So we are trying to be more proactive and identify buildings that are going to come online, whether it's private or public buildings, also working with private organizations to train some of their people, if they're interested in sheltering at their location, train them on how to run their building as a shelter, because then that takes a load off of government shelters as well as, government, that we don't have to house them. So we are doing different activities or different initiatives to try and alleviate the issue that we are having. But we're very much aware of it. We understand climate change is occurring, sea level is rising, and we are looking into it and trying to find other ways and other shelters that are better suited to the change in environment in Cayman.
Okay. I think, and just to piggyback on Teresita, and I agree with what she said, I do think that we have an issue that there are some communities that there aren't really a lot of good options. There's not such strong housing in the community. And so we have to provide a shelter. But as Teresita said, we are continuing to working to expand on that. There's, I think, an additional 3,000 shelter spaces coming online at John Gray High School, and they're going to be actually, that's actually quite an elevated area back there. Then we've got the Church of God in Bodden Town, and I think there's another one. Possibly we're even looking at the new building at the St. Ignatius on Walker's Road. They're offering. So we're working on an agreement with them, and there's some upstairs rooms as well. But I just want to say a big shout out to, we had 90 volunteers for shelter management training last night. And I mean, we're so fortunate in Cayman that people give their time, they join the CERT teams, and you know, it's a difficult job, I think, being a shelter manager. I mean, it's a big responsibility. And
sacrifice to a certain extent, because it means that, you know.
And then you're dealing with people really who are probably quite scared of what's approaching, and you know, they've got a lot to do, but we really appreciate them stepping up and offering to be part of it. But it's a continual work in progress, and we do take the point that the caller made, and I think, you know, that we do recognize some of our shelters flooded out a bit in Hurricane Ivan. We're not using that same one in Bodden Town this year, but yeah, it's a continual work in progress, and we've only got a small percentage of our population right now, 7.5% or something for Grand Cayman. So we do encourage people, as Teresita said, if you can find another option, if a family member or a friend has a strong upstairs building or an office building as an option for you, then please do it, because they're not comfortable, but there are doctors in there in the EMC shelters. And if you've got a serious medical condition, we've got doctors, we've got nurses, we've got mental health professionals, police officers, environmental health workers, and it's a better option for many people than the other alternatives.
Yes, yeah.
But I think the key thing here is that government will do as much as they can, but we really do rely on the public to start making their own preparedness. We can't be all for everyone. And I think sometimes that's kind of the mindset that government is supposed to do all, but we can only do so much with the funding, with the resources here. So we really try to utilize every possible resource, every possible dollar that we have to make sure that we're improving the community as much as possible, but we cannot do it alone. We do need the public to make their own preparedness, make their own plans and help us help them.
And get to the elderly people, because they don't want to budge. If you get something coming from Carrie's team, Sienna Weather Service, it looks like a really big one, and they're saying there could be quite high storm surge, please just don't take no for an answer. If they're in a vulnerable location, just try to scoop them up and get them somewhere. And that's why even these community emergency response teams that Teresita's pushing, Mr. Silva, they're so important, because people know who the vulnerable elderly are in their community. They don't really have a lot of support, maybe some of them.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to take our last commercial break. Simon, when we return, with the vast amount of development that we see taking place in the Cayman Islands, when it comes to flooding and the tools that you have at your disposal, or tools that are being developed as well, my question is, are we able to keep up with the pace of development in terms of our ability to address the issues that some developments may create as well? If you could speak to that when we return from the commercial break, I would appreciate that. Folks, don't change that dial. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
This summer, discover adventure, magic, culture, nature, and so much more with Cayman Airways. Airfares are now on sale for travel this summer. Visit New York, Denver, Los Angeles, Miami, Tampa, Kingston, Montego Bay, Panama, Havana, and La Ceiba. But hurry, sale ends June 1st. Call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or book online at CaymanAirways.com. Make this your best summer yet with Cayman Airways.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Can you imagine your home completely organized? At Brand Source Custom Closets, we can. We specialize in designing and building custom closets and storage units for any room in your home, including the garage. With tailored designs and custom LED lighting solutions to fit your lifestyle and budget. Our custom closets expert is committed to enhancing the value of your home with a solution that is uniquely yours. Visit our showroom or call 623-6774 to schedule a no-obligation appointment with our design expert. Brand Source Custom Closets, 209 Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park.
At Kirk's Home Center, we can make your life much better. We got it all together. We got a great deal in store for you. From cookware to stereos, from power tools to plumbing supplies. Yeah, we got the best goods with the best price and a service to make you smile. Kirk's Home Center, we got a great deal in store for you.
The National Council for Persons with Disabilities is proud to invite members of the public to visit their new website. With this modern, user-friendly design, the site offers accessibility features as well as information and resources for everyone, including persons with disabilities, caregivers, and those with long-term health conditions. The National Council for Persons with Disabilities has been striving to bring accessibility and inclusivity to all residents of the Cayman Islands since 2017. Find out more. Visit www.disabilitycouncil.gov.ky.
Time to sign up for the 4th Annual Enviro Walk Cayman. Taking place on Sunday, June 9th at Safe Haven, this 5K walk run aims to bring awareness to environmental issues. Since 2019, Enviro Walk has encouraged participants to protect our environment. Enviro Walk is a fundraiser for Girl Power, Miss World, and Miss Supranational Cayman Islands, and donates to an organization who the participants feel is helping with environmental causes. Early bird pricing available till May 15th. Register at Cayman Active or Tickets Plus. See you on June 9th at Safe Haven. For more info, contact EnviroWalkCayman@gmail.com.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, Mr. Simon Boxall, Mr. Kerry Powery from the Cayman Islands National Weather Service, and Ms. Teresita De Silva, who is the Planning and Prepared Manager at Hazard Management Cayman. So, Simon, are we able to keep pace with the development in terms of the hazards that will be created as a result, and then to ensure that they are identified? And
I think it's a great question, Mr. Connor, and thank you for it. I think we recognize at Hazard Management the importance of risk analysis. That's why we are proceeding. We got the storm tsunami model in September. We hope to talk more about that soon, because it's given us a really good sense that the tsunami risk is actually fairly low. But there is one or two scenarios that can present a bit of an issue, and we're going to be talking about that later. In terms of storm surge, which really is a big threat, that's a separate threat from the wave impact. It's a separate threat from rainfall, flooding, but they can all happen in conjunction with each other, whatever. So, and you mentioned linking it to development. And we're seeing things like the, people raised objections, I think, to a recent apartment development. West Bay, 95 apartments. They're concerned. People are concerned about the effect on development for the existing homes in the areas. When they see something else coming, where's the water going to go? And though there are recommendations or restrictions on the development in terms of what are you going to do with the flood water, how are you going to ensure that it goes away, it presents a lot of challenges in Cayman because we don't have rivers. In many areas, the soil is either very not very deep or non-existent. We have impermeable cap rock, and we've got the water table in many cases in these low-lying areas very close to the surface of the ground. So you don't have the hydraulic forces, the gravity, to really drain the water away. So it becomes like a mosquito breeding ground. The water sits there waiting for evaporation to exceed the rate of precipitation of rainfall, and we're filling in a lot of the wetlands. So I think in about a week or 10 days, we're going to have a series of meetings looking at the new development plan. Now, people have an opportunity to go along and say, give their opinions. How important is it to maintain some of these areas that are basically catchment areas for flood waters? Cayman has thrived on not having an enormous amount of restrictions. People have property rights. They want to do what they want to do with their land. So there's a balance, though. If we're going to be building more and more vulnerability into, we start to threaten our economy, threaten the viability of Cayman. So there's got to be a balance. We may need to look at the way we are building, revert back to what our ancestors did and build, up on stilts, or just look at things differently. And I think that development plan is an opportunity for people to start to give their feedback, look at it, because if our electricity is going to be, if we lose electricity for 3, 5, 6 months after a hurricane, that's not good for our economy. That's not good for our residents. If water's out for weeks, or internet, we're seeing our internet now using the poles. It's cheaper than going underground. But how long do we, when we're so dependent now on things like internet, I think we really need to look at all these things through the lens of resilience. And so I think it's a very important and very interesting question. And it's not something I necessarily think has a management, while we're doing the risk analysis, we're going to be offered people insights in what's possible. I think the public need to, let their voices be
heard. Yes, yeah. Okay, we have about 5 minutes left. I want to give the three of you an opportunity for some closing comments as well. We'll start with Ms. Teresita Da Silva. And one of the questions that I asked our previous panelists as well, after 20 years, and, September coming will be 20 years since Hurricane Ivan, where are we, since then in terms of our preparedness, or awareness, as far as hurricanes, specifically hurricanes are concerned? Where are we as far as forecasting, is concerned as well?
I think we've learned quite a bit from Ivan, as well as the tropical storms that we've been impacted by. So it's not just hurricanes that persons should be aware of. We saw Grace as well as Eta did quite a significant amount of flooding as well as power outages. But for hazard management, we've done a significant amount of interagency collaboration as well as training. So at this point, we have really good working relationships with all emergency services, government members, members of parliament, to make sure that if something were to take place, we have a well-oiled machine, that we know what our roles and responsibilities are, what the resources are on island, how we can utilize those resources, so that, persons or the community is comfortable that government can respond and assist them or assist the country. So we're doing a lot of work. We have a week-long training next week that just shows how committed we are. The week-long training with various persons within the national emergency structure, just to reinforce, how to make certain decisions, how to communicate certain information, the things that you have to think about when you're responding to an event. So we just want to make sure that persons are always prepared, because it's not just hurricanes that we would activate for. We activated for COVID. We can activate for a large fire, major flooding. So we're always testing that mechanism, always trying to implement new processes and procedures, new ways of working to ensure that we're constantly evolving, we're not just staying stagnant. We learned, we were only focused on hurricanes. And then as we saw that tropical storms were starting to impact us, we're like, okay, well, our plan is no longer a hurricane plan, it's tropical storm and hurricane plan, because some of those same procedures and mechanisms needed to go in place to respond to tropical storms. So it just shows that, as each event takes place, we learn from that. We amend our plans, we amend our processes, and we keep developing.
Okay, Mr. Powery.
In that same vein, technology has helped in speeding up some of the processes, and the National Weather Service has been blessed with some equipment. We have their own ground-based reading satellite, which we get our satellite information from, and our radar, which we didn't have back in 2004 when Ivan and even Paloma was there. And it don't only help us, but collectively the radars across the Caribbean have a mosaic which the National Hurricane Center uses, and they have used our radar in their pinpointing where the storms are. So the information is shared. There's more free communications. There's always been free communication in terms of weather information, but it's become more effective, faster due to the technology. The internet capabilities have improved, and as we said, there's been demands from the public. They want more information, they want tailored information, and they want it faster. So we have had to adapt to these changes as well, and provide different means of it. We've redeveloped our website from before. We were hosted away from the government, because in previous time, when there was any event, hurricane specifically, they would tax the overall government network. So that was one of the reasons we had to move away, because when they need information, everybody seems to wants to flood our website. All right. So the models themselves, the forecast models, have also improved over time. Like I said, now the global models are about 1/4 of a degree in distance, while before you were getting about 1.5 degrees. Right, so the resolution, the finer details, we'll be able to see smaller, impactful event for small islands like ourselves. That on the previous models, you had to interpret what's happening between the 2 points. Right, now we're falling, say, perhaps 3 or 4 points, so we could see more specific details. As we said, technology has also allowed us to be able to try to bring some of this modeling even to a finer resolution, taking the global models, and that's due to training with global partners, the United States NOAA and the National Hurricane Center. We have regularly attended their trainings to be able to keep up our skills. Regionally, there are what we call it continuing development processes and competency checks, basically coming out from the aviation side, but we have applied those to the general weather forecasting office altogether. So while we try to do what we can with what we have, there's always a need for more, and data is key. If we could have more stations on island, more specific points of reference, then we could integrate them as give us a quicker situational awareness and be able to adjust our forecast based on what we're seeing. So stuff like that are being worked on in the background. So we're doing what we can. We're planning ahead, and I am confident that the products that we put out will satisfy, at least temporarily, because the goal will always be changing in the future. So we'll try to keep up with the demand from the public, but rest assured that we'll always strive to provide the best information that we can.
Okay, Mr. Simon, and in your closing, if you can talk about the NENS.
Thank you. I see we shot by the 10 o'clock. So
yes.
I just want to thank you again, thank our residents. I think to your question, I think that the challenges are evolving. We're seeing a more difficult environment for insurance for people, prices going up. I think obviously with sea level rising, climate change, warming climate, we could be facing more intense cyclones when they do impact us, and a little less rainfall. Our population, you were the recovery coordinator after Hurricane Ivan. It was an immense task. You did an incredible job.
Thank you.
Our population is doubled since then. That being said, I think what Teresita said is exactly right. Our mechanism is stronger. It's practiced. We have plans. We have procedures. We work together efficiently and effectively. We have much improved forecasting capacity. We've reached over 1,600 people in presentations in this month alone. I think we've done 30 presentations, so people are more aware. We're going into the schools. Tomorrow we're going to be at A.L. Thompson's, directly engaging with people about their present preparedness, and they can enter to win a free kit. We were at Uncle Bill's and Kirk's Home Center and Cost You Less in previous Saturdays. I think the level of awareness generally is better. So there's lots of things, but I think we are going to eventually have to, once we get better risk analysis, which is coming very soon, look at the possibility of embedding that into our planning and development considerations. Yes. We have to, I believe. In terms of the NENS, it's another great tool. I can't understand why. I mean, this is free, even if you don't have data on your phone. You can get a message when you're sleeping. If there's some big bushfire or some kind of hazard spill or something, you're not getting any information. There's no commercials, nothing. We're not taking your data. But if you sign up for this app, they'll send a message direct to your phone, and it'll interrupt your phone even when it's on silent. It's amazing. So if you're a teacher or you can't keep your phone on when you're working, this is a great thing to have if there's a tsunami coming or whatever. So www.nens.gov.ky, our website, Cayman Prepared, and call us at Hazard Management, 945-4624. We'll come to your school, your business, your NGO, anywhere you want us to come for free. We'll do a hazard awareness presentation. We'd welcome that opportunity. Teresita recently put out our All Hazards booklet. Come to the government building. They're right there. There she's showing it. It's a great publication.
Keep this one?
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
And we've got a hurricane booklet, and we've got one for children. Keep them occupied and busy if we do face a threat. Again, the chances are low that we're going to get hit by a major hurricane. But I tell you, if you do a little preparedness now, makes it more affordable too. Get a little bit of non-perishable food. Get your water in now. Trim back your trees if you can. Figure out where you're going to put your car. But most important, figure out where you're going to shelter. Take a lot of pressure off, and I thank you.
Folks, I want to thank you for the work that you do to help to keep us safe here in the Cayman Islands as well. Folks, we've gone over time, so I'm going to just say to you, join Sterling Dwayne Ebanks at 12:15 for Talk Today. And we ask the good Lord to continue to bless these three beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands.
For the Record, proudly brought to you by
Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury, and JN Money.
From abroad to yard.
Fast, affordable, convenient. Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Digicel, Cayman's bigger, better network. And Kirk Market. Experience a world of choice.
One radio station. Radio Cayman is the voice of the Cayman Islands.